It's a good feeling, isn't it? Solving a problem, finding an answer, making it work. A good feeling. Well, it's like mending a broken wireless, really. It's just a question of making the right connections. Shall I tell you a secret? Top secret. Well, I couldn't even tell my analyst this. But since you won't understand a word I'm saying, Nikos, what does it matter? It all took place at the beginning of the war in an English country house called Bletchley Park. The Germans had built a machine they called Enigma. Oh, it was very cunning. It made codes and nobody knew how to break these codes. Well, that was the problem that we had to solve. If we didn't, well, if we couldn't, we'd lose the war. It was as simple as that. But where to begin? Well, first there's guesswork. The code-breaking process always begins with a guess. Well, you had to guess the first few phrases of a message and what they might mean. This wasn't necessarily as difficult as it sounds because military messages generally always start with a stereotyped phrase, the dates, the time, the name and rank of the sender, that sort of thing. But then we discovered that it was possible to use the phrase that we guessed to form a chain of implications, of logical deductions for each of the rotor positions on the machine. Now, if this chain of implications led you to a contradiction, which invariably it did, it would mean that you were wrong and you'd have to move on to the next rotor position, and so on and so on and so on. An impossibly lengthy and laborious process, and time was against us. We didn't know what to do. Then suddenly, one spring afternoon, I remembered a conversation I'd had with Wittgenstein. We were arguing about the fact that a contradiction implies any contradiction, any proposition. And I saw immediately that I could use this elementary theorem in mathematical logic to build a machine that would have the necessary speed. A machine with electrical relays and logical circuits, which could sense a contradiction and recognise consistencies. A machine of Krebs, closed loops and perfect synchrony. A machine for discerning a pattern in the patternless. If your guess was wrong, electricity would flow through all the related hypotheses and knock them out in a flash, like the chain reaction in a nuclear bomb. If your hypothesis was correct, everything would be consistent and the electrical current would stop at the right combination. Our machine would be able to examine thousands of millions of possibilities at amazing speed. And with any luck, it would give us the way in. But more than that, all the connections had been made. There was a pure beauty in the logical pattern, the human element, the deeply satisfying relationship between the theoretical and the practical. What a moment that was. Quite extraordinary. Oh, Christopher, if only you could have been there. Never again. Never again a moment like that. In the long run, it's not the breaking of the code that matters. It's where you go from there. That's the real problem.